Adjust them while y'all talk.
Hello, hello,
All
hello.
right.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, here we go.
What's up?
Once again, back again with the We Got You podcast. You got Damien.
What's up?
Yes, sir.
You got Mackie.
Yes, sir.
The
Yeah.
principal in the house today.
You know.
Principal Mason. And we got Thunderclap, aka Bradley Jackson.
See, man, they got a lot of nicknames for me around here.
Thunderclap's the newest one.
We got this guy over here.
Oh yeah, how can we forget White Chocolate? Chris, the podcast master.
Yeah.
I want to be addressed like that every time I
White
come into the
chocolate?
shop. Yeah.
Yeah,
You white chocolate?
White
All
chocolate,
right.
Dub-C.
That's a high
Fucking
standard
with
to
the
hold
levels
up
over
to.
there.
Yeah.
You know, ever since he got a taper fade, now he
Oh,
wants
yeah,
to be
he
white
just
chocolate.
he
He
used
different
to just come in, get
Yeah,
number 2
get
on the
two,
side. Yeah, can I
no
get a
edge
2?
up.
No, he had a card. He brought it from somewhere. I don't know where it's from. He had a card. He had a
card?
He had a
I want-
great
yeah,
clips
had a
card.
card.
A great
All the
clips
numbers on it. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell?
Wow.
So he shows me this card. It's a 3 on the
And you
side.
needed to see that card for the first 3 months I came in so you could remember what I wanted.
See what I mean? Because you would always change it.
There-
We did
No, it was
two
always the
times,
same, but
three-
every time I came in, you're like, let me see
All
that
right,
card again. Let me
so
see that
now
card.
He's came to 2019.
Yeah,
We get
so-
tapers now,
So
right?
now
here,
he's
you know what I
white
mean?
chocolate,
Yeah.
Chris, the podcast master.
Yeah.
We got a special guest sitting in with us today. This gentleman comes in, and when he comes in, we're ready.
Yeah, we're ready.
Like we're ready because it's going to be loud.
Keisha warns us. He said, "Hey,
Mackey's on the way. And we're like, oh hell.
Oh, we about to hit him with some
go get some
political stuff.
coffee.
We about to hit him
As soon as I
with
walk in,
Kanye.
We're gonna
Jay-Z.
get coffee.
Yeah.
We're gonna
talk about the kids.
Yeah.
We're talking about everything.
Everything.
And essentially
Yeah.
that's what this podcast is going to be about. We're just going to throw a broad blanket out there and talk about everything.
Right.
And yeah, man. So we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come sit in with us.
Yeah,
and Principal Mason, we're gonna call him Mackie today.
That's right.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm good.
Let us know about yourself.
It was a long day today, but
I
I'm
bet.
happy to be here.
Your
Happy
voice
to be
normally
here.
don't sound like that.
No,
What's been
it does
going
not.
on?
It
What you-
doesn't. I announced for our girls basketball game at the end of the day today, so my boy, and I did the boys basketball game a couple days ago, so my voice is a little raspy.
Nice.
So
Is there-
where are you a principal at?
So I'm a principal at Austin Chief Public Schools. We're a
Okay.
public charter school here in Northeast Austin.
So public charter school, I'm sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off,
no,
is
you're
a complete new term because I personally told Bradley I don't want to talk about charter schools because a lot of times they're painted as the villain. So it did, to me, this podcast would have came like almost us attacking you. But then right when you came in, you're like, we're a public charter school. I was like, what the fuck's
Yeah.
a public charter school?
Yeah.
So what's a public charter school? Just so people don't throw charter schools all under the same
And
aisle.
what's the difference between just a regular charter school and a public charter school?
Yeah, so, a charter school, all charter schools are public schools.
Okay.
And that's part of kind of where, I guess, the messaging has gotten lost. I know for the school that I work at, our mission is to serve kids who have been traditionally underserved by their local schools. And this is no
That's
shade
badass.
to them. It's just
What it
the
is.
reality.
Yeah.
And it's no shade. Like when our school was founded, the school that our kids were zoned to was rated literally the worst school in the state of Texas.
Oh, damn.
And it's just not okay, right?
Yeah.
And in Austin, particularly in Austin, segregation highway, right? So you got the 35,
Yeah.
and it's just a big difference between the east and west
Exactly.
side, right? And that shows in the schools. But because the schools on the west side have pretty good scores, it kind of averages out, right? It doesn't tell the true story.
Can I give an example? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
absolutely.
So my son was born and raised on East Austin, and this was older East Austin. He's 20, about to be 21 now, and so when he was in middle school. He was going to go to Martin Middle School.
Yeah.
And the thing was, we got a letter in the mail from the AISD saying, would you like to transfer your son to Murchison? And they paint the picture. It's like, it's a better opportunity. The classes are more advanced. And the only thing is that they were just going to bus him from East Austin,
Yeah.
which is a 40-minute commute. And, we decided to go ahead and do that route. And shortly after we did it, I'm not going to lie, I feel like a sellout.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Did you feel like a sellout?
Yeah, I felt like a sellout because everything that we knock, like everything that we fucking knock, like East Austin is underperforming, Dust Springs is underperforming,
Right.
Even Fulmore is underperforming. And what ends up happening is that my son got cherry picked.
Yeah.
He scored excellent on the
Yep.
STAR test.
Yep.
So it's not like they're looking for
Yeah.
any little
Yeah.
Latino
Yeah,
boy.
because they just closed.
Yeah.
ASD didn't
Yeah.
they just close like 4 schools?
Yeah,
They just
Brook
closed
Elementary,
across.
right?
Yeah,
And
one of
that's-
them. I'm
and-
not sure exactly which one's.
I think my son on social media put RIP Brook Elementary.
Wow.
So he went to Brook. He was gonna go to Martin. Then he ended up going to Murchison, and then just stayed on that side of town and naturally went to Anderson, right?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so then by his middle of his sophomore year, AISD pulled the plug on that program and was like, we still want him to come, but now you got to get him here. And that was the problem because he's in East Austin. You know, who has 3 hours? Commute
for sure.
time.
Wow.
And so we ended up having to transfer him to his normal school. Now, the downside to that was when he was a sophomore, this dude was taking advanced placement classes.
Yeah.
And then when he went to he got transferred here to South Austin, Aikens High School. All they had was they had pre-advanced placement classes.
Right.
So he was essentially already where the seniors were.
Yeah.
Why is it like
That's what I'm saying.
So I've never heard that, so and I'm so glad you shared that. My life mission is that every parent has the choice that AIC gave you.
Yeah.
Right. Every parent should be able to choose the best school for their kid.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, and this is like every child is their parent's most precious gift, right? And every parent should be able to choose like that's the right school for my son. Yeah. The way that the system works right now, you're zoned to whatever your zip code is, right? And so we wonder why, like people make connections of crime is higher in this certain zip code, and it's like, well, yeah, because the education has traditionally been there.
Yeah.
You're not giving kids options. Perhaps another kid that could have been a bright bulb was stuck in a school that had low expectations for him. And again, it's no shade to the adult.
Yeah.
It's just low expectations, and that stuff goes on.
Why is Anderson not the same school as Aikens? Why do they have at Aikens? Why wouldn't they have the same exact curriculum that they have at Anderson?
It's lower expectations.
Yeah.
Like
I know,
that's
but
really
why,
what it's
though?
about. Why are the lower expectations?
Yeah.
Because it's America, right?
Yeah, but why do you go to HEB? Why do you go to HEB on the west side and they got 1,000 organic things, but you go to my HEB on William Cannon 35,
And Riverside,
we
too.
got 2 fucking organic things,
right.
and we got the lowest Hill Country Fair everything, but it's a heavy Hispanic demographic, heavy minority demographic. It's changing big time. So that's going to change as well. But yeah, that's why they just cater to the area.
But in
Like,
school, though, it's not like that. In school, there's smart people, Mexican, black.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. So
Right.
why
Of
would
course.
you go to Westlake? They're gonna have way more of those type of classes compared to Crockett.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and what I'm saying is, why is it like that?
Well,
Why?
that's why we exist.
Yeah.
Like to answer that question, it shouldn't be that way, and because they're not changing, okay, we're gonna do it
There you go.
ourselves.
What grades do y'all have at your
So
school?
we're pre-K through 12. I lead the high school, which is 9 through 12.
How many kids
Total,
in the high school?
In the high school, we're about 500.
Okay.
High school, we're about 500.
Damn.
We're continuing growing. We just had our first graduating class last year. So we started 6th grade in the upstairs of a church, went to portables, and we opened up our final middle school 4 years ago, and then we opened our elementary school last year. We opened our high school this year. Okay. So we're in a brand new facility right on the corner of 290 and 183.
how many of those 500 are gonna walk that stage?
You know, a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. You know, we graduated 80 last year. We should be at about 90
Nice.
this next year, and the goal is to have 150 kids
Yeah.
each year. This is a
The
kind of
percentage? Wait, that's just the kids, not the percentage.
that's the number of kids. Yeah,
Okay,
the number of
okay,
kids.
okay.
So we start small, and then we're going to continue
for
to
sure.
get bigger. Our middle school is already bigger than Sadler Means, which is the other school that were there. And I mean, a lot of the reasons why they close is because parents are choosing, and they blame charters, right?
Yeah.
But it's to blame charters, you would have to believe that money is entitled to the school. So schools get funded by attendance, right?
Yeah.
So every time your child is in a seat, the state gives them money,
Yeah.
right? And so if they're lowering enrollment, they're not getting as much money, right? And so they blame charters for draining money, and it's like, we're not draining money. The parents are choosing.
Yeah.
And here's where it's really messed up. They don't assume that our parents are making the right choice.
Yeah, for sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
They don't. It's the same reason why
They
they're
say you're
especially-
not smart
they're
enough to
saying
make
that
the decision
They're
for-
falling for marketing.
Yeah.
Right. When you have kids on Westlake, I was just talking to a guy. I was actually at Westlake last week. I was just talking to a guy who bought an apartment close to Westlake so that his kids could go to Westlake. And it's like, well, wait. So you have to have the financial means, or you have to be cherry picked.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe that. I
Yeah.
believe that all of our kids should succeed.
Yeah.
And like you said, there is no reason why the expectations should be lower. And there's just an article in the Wall Street Journal where they're talking about charter schools as they're kind of coming up in the political debate. And it says, wait. Look at the parents that are choosing to go there. Are you going to sit there and tell me that those parents aren't making the right choice for their kids? You know what I mean? And so that's yeah.
So is the public charter school a newer thing, or has that always been since the existing of charter?
Not since the existing.
Yeah,
I don't know the
existence.
exact like about. Oh gosh, I know we've been around for a while, and the idea was to kind of like a capitalist type of approach to school, which I know is like kind of controversial, but it's the idea of like with competition, it's going to make everybody better.
Of course.
A lot of things. Like I don't have any beef with AISD.
Yeah.
Like I legit don't. I try to reach
Do
out to
they
the
have beef
principals.
with you?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. And not the people. Like the people that work at these
Because
schools.
of the money.
Whenever I talk to
Do
them,
you think
like,
it's because of the money?
I think so. I think so. But it's also like we got to be real. We have to have real conversations. Like you keep blaming us, but you're not talking about why our parents actually leaving.
Yeah, for
Some
sure.
of the things that they come up with are the solutions. Like, are you listening to the parents? And it's like, again, it's an equity issue, right? Because when Peace, now this is really controversial. Peace Elementary was on the ballot to be removed, or was on their plan to be removed, and Peace doesn't have as high of a low income student population. And so when you drive downtown, you see all these Save Peace signs. And like, more power to those parents for advocating, but those parents are able to take time off to go get into the room where it happens. Those parents are able to go advocate. And for a minute, they almost didn't close Peace. And it was just such a clear example of like, wow, which of our kids doesn't deserve a parent that can go and advocate for them?
Of course.
And so we stand in their place, and we, when our parents are busy, and it's not that they don't want to, they have to survive, they have to provide, right?
Yeah.
And so we stand in their place to be able to give them the education that, this is how I frame it, because it's really important to remember this, that our kids deserve. Because I want somebody to tell me that that any of our kids don't deserve to have a world-class education.
Yeah.
How are these? So with these kids, and y'all doing from 6 to 12, you say you're gonna have like 500, students, and 90 gonna graduate. What happens to the rest of the seniors? Like, do they just take do y'all have a summer school program for them, or do they go to the AISD summer school program, or how does that work?
So I wasn't clear. So that's the total number that we have in the class right now. So we had 80 last year, and we'll have 90.
Oh, that's what's up.
So every
he's trying
class,
to grow.
Yeah, we're growing. So
that's what's up.
every year we'll grow, and we'll have more and more kids.
But you have a high percentage of graduating.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, 100%. So yeah,
That's what I was.
Yeah,
asking.
that's what I was trying to go. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, our focus is like the high school graduation piece. It's not easy, but that's kind of a low bar. And frankly, in our community, high school graduation is seen as like a really high bar. And so it's got to be both things, right? We have to say like, yes, it is a big deal for you to graduate high school, but what's next? What do you have to do post-secondary, whether it's a certificate, whether it's a 2-year, whether it's a 4-year, what are you doing next? Because we know to have a living wage, you have to do, in a lot of cases, you have to do more than a high school
So
degree.
are there charter schools? So if somebody says, hey, I want to take my kid out of Betachek, right?
Yeah.
And do they just come there and automatic? Yeah, okay.
So it's not automatic. So most charter schools have a waiting list, right? And so once we reach capacity, we're at a waiting list because we can only seat so many kids.
You have so many teachers.
But you just apply just like you would anywhere else. And there's no, when I say apply, there's no like qualifications, right?
Yeah.
If you are a a secondary school age kid and you sign up, we have to take you. And so that's also a common misnomer. So frankly, a lot of times we get kids who had discipline issues at their other school or just kept being put in alternative
and
school
then y'all
things
turn
like
them
that.
into
And then
graduates?
They come to us, and then we just approach, for us in particular,
Yeah.
not every charter school, but we approach discipline differently, right? And so we don't suspend kids. We really try not to expel kids unless like the law makes us do that. And so when a kid does something that's a suspension level offense, we put them in our restorative justice program. And instead of just saying like, you did this, go home 3 days, right? A lot of our parents are working.
Yeah.
What are they going to
Or
do for
put them
you?
in alternative learning
Or put them in
center.
alternative learning setting with other kids who are making really bad choices. We're going to put them in a restorative justice program where they actually have to reflect on what they did, and they have to turn that around and say, okay, here's the harm that I did to the community. Because for a lot of our kids in our neighborhood, so a great example, I'm going on a tangent here, but a great example, when you go to a grocery store on the west side of town, all the grocery carts are put back in the thing. There's a sense of community.
And the wheels roll great.
And the wheels roll great, right?
Great.
But the stores are like nice, right? It's
Yeah,
distinct,
yeah.
right? And why is that? It's not because part of it is like the employees care more, but also the people live in a community.
Yeah.
Right? And as a community, we see that, no, we're going to do this together because it's just community rules. In our neighborhood, and I live on the east side of Boston as well, it's just very individualistic.
Yeah.
Right? I'm trying to
Penitentiary
survive.
rules.
I'm trying to
Penitentiary rules.
I'm trying to survive.
Yeah.
I don't have time to put my card away. I gotta go. Right.
Yeah.
And so like we want our kids to understand, like, no, you're a part of a community. And you have to understand, like, as a community, we need to work. So when you do something, it's not just, you can't just think about yourself. You have to understand the harm that's done.
Yeah.
And when you say that to a kid, doesn't matter how old they are, they understand that.
Yeah,
They're like,
for sure.
when I cursed at that teacher,
Yeah.
I was mad about what happened at home.
It
had
also
nothing to do with
shows that you
teacher.
care.
Yes.
There's not a lot of that
Right.
going on with
Right.
kids because you got to show them that you actually care about them.
Right. Exactly.
And man,
yeah.
every once in a while I get these videos online and it shows these kids acting up in school.
Sure.
And I don't know if like it was like that in my time because there weren't cameras around to document all
Yeah.
that. But man, it just seems like it's more. Didn't we just have a substitute teacher whoop up
Yeah,
on
that was
somebody?
really bad.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
just had.
But she shouldn't even have been there.
Yeah, it was bad, and
Are
it's,
they hurting for teachers that bad or subs?
I mean, frankly,
People don't wanna be
I don't
teachers
know
anymore?
the situation too much. I just want to say I don't know the situation too much, but you just like, why do you sign up to do the job?
Yeah.
Right? Like kids say wild things all the time. You can't go off on a kid
Yeah,
like
for
that.
sure.
Pop off.
Like on your worst day. And this is why, a lot of conversations about, educators, this is I think where it makes us different is when an educator does something wrong, there's no educator blue line.
Yeah.
You did something wrong, I'm gonna call you out. Like that's not okay. Like when
Yeah.
we're around our kids, like you have to have care, and that's absolutely unacceptable and reprehensible. It just can't happen.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will say, well, these kids these days, it's like, sure, but what is, so we're just good with that?
Yeah, we're just gonna
with
accept that?
Yeah, we're just gonna accept that. Like if you're gonna be a part of this, you need to be a part of
Well,
that.
it's
change.
also because like I feel like a lot of that is because of what you talked about earlier, like parents not being able to be involved, having to work, single parent household.
Yeah.
Kids essentially having to grow up at a very young age. I mean, I know kids. I went to school with kids that walked miles from school, like miles. I'm like, I mean,
Went home by themselves, and a lot
I
of people-
fucking walked miles. I mean, I know kids that catch city buses and shit
absolutely.
together. Yeah, they're
Absolutely.
taking transfers. I'm like,
Right.
man, like that's not a normal situation for that kid. But it's I mean, for some people, it's life.
Yeah.
It's life because mom's got to go to work.
Yeah. Poverty's a real
at
thing.
first thing in the morning, and unfortunately it's raining, mijo or son
Yeah.
or daughter, and I got you a coat. Hopefully it's thick enough. Bye.
Yeah, no, and poverty is real, right?
Yeah,
and
poverty is real.
and it's exacerbated, I think, by social media and everything like that being out there. I think it's in the front so that we can all have this conversation. I think that's really important. I think what you said is really important. It's like I can't look at this kid as his or her behavior. I have to understand everything that child is coming to the table with, and it's not about feeling sorry for them.
Or try to make an excuse.
There's
try to make an
also not a
excuse.
lot of people that think like
Yeah,
that.
there's not.
Well, I
Man,
think this is what
I'm saying, like the way you look at it is
Right.
how every teacher needs to look at
Yeah,
it.
because
And I think a lot of people get in. A lot of the teachers I've met or have not a lot of them. I would say probably 20% of them.
Sure.
But those 20% can make a huge impact.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's
Bad
like police.
impact.
It's like police.
No,
a
no, for
small
sure.
number of bad cops
Exactly.
make
Yeah.
it harder for everybody else to do their
for
job
sure.
right.
And I don't know why you get into this if you're not looking at it to help kids. And
Yeah,
so-
because you're not going to make a lot of money.
Well, I think a lot of
Unfortunately.
people start they get into it thinking they're going to help, right? And then they get burnt out.
I think it's the same with police. I think it's the same with a lot of people. Like people
every,
get into
every
it and
job,
get burnt out.
every career, everything.
Right. And working with our kids, like working with the trauma that they have is not easy.
Oh,
y'all.
yeah, for sure.
Like, it is heavy.
Yeah, people don't
It is
understand.
heavy.
Yeah.
You know,
People-
y'all see when I come here, I'm like,
Yeah.
you know
Bro,
what
I used to
mean?
work at a daycare, Stepping Stone, man.
Yeah.
And that, man, just to listen to the kids sometimes and hear what they were going through.
Yeah.
Man, like
Yeah.
it's like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, and that's why so I want to be fair, right? So if I'm saying that we need to look at our kids as human, principals and school leaders also need to look at our teachers as human, right? And so like we have to make sure that we're not churning through teachers and then we're not pushing them too hard and we're, pushing them hard for like the success of kids, but like also understanding that they're human as well. And I think that's where I'm at in my growth is like I have, I think, less grace with adults, and I need to push myself to have that same grace with adults because anybody that chooses to work with our kids, even the teacher that swung on that kid, I'm wondering what was the conversation before, because something happened before where a kid wilded out and that teacher got upset.
Yeah.
What was that conversation?
For sure.
You know what I mean? And how are we ensuring that every adult? with their
Ain't they
kids
trying
know?
to figure that out with the old boy on the Cleveland Browns and
Miles Garrett?
man.
Yeah, he said something was said.
Yeah,
That's a
something
little
was said.
exaggerated.
Man, this is just crazy, man.
Yeah.
He's tripping.
Now he's
tripping.
coming out saying that the dude called him the N-word. If he called him the N-word, it's just a little sketchy to me.
Well, they're saying
like I
racial slur.
don't want to say. No, he said the N-word. They
He
actually
did say
yeah.
N-word? Man.
What he said. It came out now. Miles Garrett just came out and said, "I know what I heard," and he said, "I didn't know this was actually going to come out to the public. This was in a hearing, and he said it shouldn't have came out. And he said, I'm not trying to excuse my actions.
Oh, that's
but
interesting.
Bro, stop. Like my thing is, why wouldn't you say anything that right when it happened?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
right when it happened, like you walk off the field, you go in
Right.
the locker room, they come and put a mic in your face. First of all, that's gonna be the first thing I say.
right.
First thing. But I also don't want to say that it didn't happen because I don't really
that's
know.
a tough spot, right?
But
That's what we were talking about earlier with
But it's
Jesse.
questionable.
Yeah.
It's very questionable.
It's questionable.
It's like the stuff that happened with the dude in Chicago.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
as a black man, I'm sitting here like,
Wait a
don't
minute.
sound right. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Wait
Yeah.
a minute.
Why you talking about Empire?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Justice
Smollett, yeah.
Just something doesn't sound right.
Just to get back to what something similar what we're talking about football, but I also want to talk about what are the safety these people are like the high school level are taking for these kids, especially with all these
Yeah, we got to go back to.
injuries, head injuries.
Oh,
and,
as a football coach?
Yeah, as a football. Not even like as AISD as the
What would you
charter
have done
school.
if somebody would have got hit with a helmet? If they took the dude's helmet off, how do you see that? Like, how do you see that playing out?
So I think it's a couple things. I play football. I coach football now. I think tempers flare.
What
And that's
position
what
did you play?
I play running back in D.
Damn,
Back in the
running
day.
back, huh? That's
about
what's
200
up.
pounds ago, yeah.
Little quick feet, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
look quick. How you look? Shifty motherfucker. How you look? I know what time.
Bowling balls,
Yeah. Hey, I tackled somebody like you gave me a stinger on my shoulder. I couldn't get that damn low. That motherfucker, all I saw was the top of a helmet, and that was it. I got my tackle, but I had a stinger. I had a stinger like a motherfucker.
So if I'm coaching that. That's just not a good look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, regardless of what was said or not, you just can't lose it. You can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's football and it's a very aggressive sport. But what I always tell our players, you got to play football at football times.
Yeah.
What do you think about people saying that it was assault with a deadly weapon?
I think that's tough. I don't think that's fair. That's a fair assessment to make. I think and then you look at hockey. The example I keep using is
look
hockey.
at baseball, too.
Look
They
at
throw the
baseball.
baseball at
Throwing
their heads.
baseballs in people's head, and that's not. So if we're gonna have that conversation, let's be consistent.
Yeah. But that is a weapon though, yo.
Yeah.
I mean, be
So is
real.
a baseball.
I get that, but the dude
So it
has a
fits.
helmet on.
No, it's not okay.
Yeah, we're not saying it's okay.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is a dude, like if the dude took his helmet off and then the dude throws the baseball at him, that's different than getting hit with the ball like at the plate.
I just think it's a heat of the moment.
Yeah,
It's
but
just-
I think ripping somebody's fucking head off and then fucking hitting them with it,
It's extreme.
that's assault. It's assault, of course. I
So
mean,
if they hit somebody with the hockey stick, is that assault?
that's a weapon.
But is it assault?
Yeah, it's assault.
it
I
happens.
played hockey, and you're wrong.
That's assault. That's a
But I
weapon.
think-
No,
If you hit
that's a
somebody-
2-minute minor penalty in
The
hockey.
dude,
It's not
so
even
the
a
dude,
major.
all right, so the dude,
high
hold on.
sticking.
Slashing.
No,
High-
but what
no,
about
no,
the
no.
dude? The dude
Slashing?
that was, it was years ago.
I
The
know
dude,
that.
the
Yeah,
dude-
you're talking about Todd
The dude hit
Bertuzzi.
him in the back of the,
He didn't hit him with a stick. He grabbed him and basically shoved him face. There was no weapon in that.
No, the dude was
Nope. You're talking about Todd Bertuzzi.
What does he look like?
He
It
big
was a black-
motherfucker.
no, it was a
No,
black dude.
this is an African American dude I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Got hit in the back of the
He
neck
got hit in
with
the
a
back of the
stick.
head
He
with a
fucking
stick.
fainted, hit his head.
Saban Saban?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
you're
not
talking about.
Saban.
I
This
don't
is
know the name.
back-
I don't
this
know
is
the
like
name.
90s.
I don't know the name. No, this is probably early 2000s. I'm
But
thinking.
were they charged for assault?
No, but that was fucking assault right there. That dude had his back.
It's different on a sports.
I don't give a
it's a-
fuck.
on
I
ice,
don't
on a
give
field.
Fuck. I'm calling. If you
So
not
okay,
doing
so
something
what
outside
happens
the
if
lines,
Rudolph-
we calling the motherfucking
So what
cops.
happened if Rudolph would have died?
Yeah.
I mean,
But what
that's-
happens if he became
that's a slippery
paralyzed?
slope argument.
Yeah, that's
he
it.
didn't. You know,
Yeah,
what I mean?
no, for sure.
If he did, then let's have that conversation. But he
Yeah.
didn't, and I know I'm like,
But
it didn't
that's
sound like I'm
intent.
just-
Like
I'm
that's
not-
that in the judicial world. That's intent. Like to swing.
I mean, if we're gonna do that, I think it just opens up a legal can of
No,
worms.
because then
how?
you got the police
Like-
arresting people every scuffle in a football game.
Nah,
every
that's
every
different.
hockey
But when
fight.
their helmets are on, when they're fighting. You know nothing's gonna happen. Your helmet's on, my helmet's on.
So
We're
hockey
fucking just
fights,
doing this
you
shit
wanna
for
prosecute
fun.
Hockey fights, should
those?
they be prosecuted?
Huh?
Should hockey fights? Should
Were they
be
not? Were
prosecuted?
their helmets come off and they're
I don't
throwing?
know.
I'm
That's
just
not
saying
my
it
word.
just
Punches?
opens up.
I'm just talking about when
it
you see
opens
a
up
fucking
Pandora's
thing come
box.
back as a fucking thing and hit somebody in the fucking head.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, he missed. But I'm just saying, if he would have made full
And he did it
contact,
with the open.
that would have been.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's
Yeah.
absolutely disgusting, and it
For
shouldn't
sure.
be in the game.
Yeah,
In
it
the game that I
be in
love,
the
it
game.
shouldn't be in
That's
the
why
game.
he should be suspended for 16 games.
You ever been in a
Fuck-
fight during like a high school game or anything like that?
No, I was in a basketball game. A dude went up and he fucking went up for a layup, and when he pushed him, he came underneath him and just ran underneath him and just
Took his legs out?
Yeah, took his leg and he broke his neck.
Damn.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
That's
And
crazy.
The dude didn't get assault.
He didn't get charged with assault.
I hit a
That's
kid in
assault.
the face with a hockey stick once.
Yeah.
Clean, like tomahawk chopped him right to the. He had a cage because we're kids. You got to wear a full face mask. But
As a kid, how old were you?
I was 14.
Oh, that's not a damn kid.
I got a 1-game suspension for that. I got it booted out of the game and suspended next game.
Damn, that's a troubled teen. Well, you were missing some hugs or something growing up. Why you
Hey.
had so much anger?
I was an enforcer. That was my job.
Come
You're
on,
enforcing
not
it.
like
Instill fear. That's what I did.
That's what you did.
That's what I
you
did.
did. You didn't get enough hugs
I didn't.
growing up.
I
That's all
wasn't
that tells
fast.
me.
I couldn't score goals, but I could hit like a truck.
You're the guy without the stick, just looking for somebody.
Pretty much.
That's what's up.
Stick
That's
just
why-
slowed me down.
So you can skate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
you know he can skate. Look at him. He look like he can skate.
He looks like a skater.
Yeah,
I
y'all
can't
gotta
skate backwards that fast.
yeah, he
but
can.
You can skate backwards.
skate.
Backwards is tough.
You can do the flying V.
Backwards seem to the flying V. Shout out to Mighty Duck Disney Plus.
The Mighty Ducks. But that's what's up, man. So how are these kids acting nowadays compared to like I'm 39, about to be 40.
I'm 33.
Oh, so you're
How is
33?
bullying now?
Yeah, because I mean they got online bullying.
Yeah,
It's different, right?
But what I'm saying is, why doesn't I'm not trying to say anything about bullying. I'm not saying that they're wrong. Bullying's fucked up. But all of us got bullied. But what I'm saying is, when you go home, I don't understand why they can't take away the damn Facebook or Instagram.
It's an
Have you tried to
addiction.
take away?
Yeah.
I don't have kids. That's what I'm saying. I don't have kids. That's
Yeah,
why I'm
but
asking
have you personally?
I mean, I'll take it away.
No, but have you?
But I don't.
Yeah, but
I'm not getting bullied. So
yeah, I know,
Did you?
but no. Did I get bullied?
No, I'm saying raising kids. I don't have a kid, so
From my son?
Phone, yeah, from his
No,
son.
my son never had that issue.
Never had that
my
issue?
son, but my son, like I always taught my son different. Like, yo, if you see somebody sitting at a table by themselves, go talk to that dude, see what's up.
That's
You know
how
what I
I
mean?
was too.
Like,
Yeah.
don't talk. I remember telling my son when he was young, I said, hey, look, let me tell you something. If I ever fucking hear that you're making fun of a kid with like ugly shoes or like torn up clothes or
Right.
dirty clothes,
Right.
I said, I'm gonna take all your shit.
Right.
I said, because Matt, that's me growing up.
You know, it's interesting. I think that there's a cultural difference between like roasting and bullying.
Yeah.
Right. And so like I grew up like you had to come correct.
we
Even till
roasted,
this day.
yeah.
When I
We
go
roasted.
home with my family, like you better come
Yeah.
correct
Yeah.
or you were going to
Yeah.
get absolutely
Yeah.
roasted.
Roasted, yeah.
Roasted about everything.
Yeah, roasted.
Yeah.
And with my kids today, like we still like we banter back and forth and
Yeah.
we roast. What I tell them though, it doesn't matter what you meant. Right, because some of the I'm going to talk about light low key bullies and then like actual high key bullies.
Yeah.
Low key bullying where you're like joking and the kid doesn't you say that one thing that pisses that kid off. You have to own that. It doesn't matter what your intent was. If you hurt that kid's feelings, that's what matters. And so I try to teach kids that when you go to like you're actually like targeting the kid, it's just like whoa, what do you like?
Yeah.
My kid's like whoa,
Yeah.
we don't. You're picking on the kid with the study. You're picking on like no.
Yeah.
And so I've actually personally seen it's different. Like there weren't as many people sticking up
Yeah.
for the underdog.
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
think it's because the underdogs they have their own group. So like the kids that are into anime, when I was in school, you would get like
Yeah.
straight up bullied.
Yeah.
Straight up bullied if you're into something different. But because everything's out there on the internet and everybody's seen a YouTube video of anime or something like that,
Yeah.
people have their own tribes. I think it is kind of a hot take, but I think it actually helps to make kids more accepted, at least from my
It exposes them to more
Exposes them to different
through
things.
their phone. So when they see
Exactly.
it in reality,
Right.
it's not like a culture shock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
How
the-
hard is it to teach and be an educator with phones? Because I come from,
Yeah.
and I know y'all do. I come from that generation. Like
We didn't have phones.
only the rich kids had a phone
Yeah.
in school.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't get my first
Only
phone
the rich
until I
kids
went
in
off
my
to
school had a
college.
pager.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
it. But now
You grew up-
everybody
you grew up like-
has a phone.
Yeah.
They had pages
How-
back in the
Everybody
day.
has a phone.
How do y'all control for that? How does that affect
So in
teaching?
our school, you're not allowed to have your phone out other than before school, at lunch, or after school. A lot of schools try to go in the middle, and for what I've seen, it just doesn't work. Right? You have to have a phone policy, or you don't have a phone policy. You can't say, oh, just this teacher. From my opinion, this teacher allows you to use, this teacher doesn't. Kids, I mean, what do kids do when there's time to wait? They pull out their phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so school is actually the only time in the day where our kids don't choose their entertainment.
Yeah.
The only time of the day where they don't get to choose what they watch because there's so much out there.
Yeah.
Right? Especially with the new streaming, so there's so much out there. And so it is hard to keep their attention. And I think a lot of teachers try to go overboard and do like things to like entertain them and stuff like that. It's like, no, like kids want to learn.
Yeah.
You just have to teach them like, no, I need you here right now. I need you locked in right now. You can't be talking about that meme that you saw. You can do that at lunch, right? And like focus right now. So we have a strict no cell phone policy in class, and our kids are actually okay with it. When we're going to allow phones at lunch, I remember a kid was like, no, don't do that because then we're not going to talk to each other anymore.
Yeah. Damn,
And
that's what's
up.
a kid said that.
Hey,
I was
that's-
like, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah.
I have a question about. I know it's AISD. I don't know. That's why I'm asking about the charter schools. It's the whole lunch thing.
Yeah.
Like you constantly see stories of kids getting turned down meals
Yeah.
because they don't have the money. Like
Yeah.
we already talked about this shit. That
Yeah.
some kids just unfortunately don't have the money,
Yeah.
and the parents, and so the kid is the one suffering. Like some schools they were giving kids only toast,
Yeah.
just so they wouldn't be hungry. And I just never understood the process of paying tax money
Lunch
and
should be
like,
free, I
yeah,
think.
and
I
then
agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
so they're paying tax dollars. They're getting money per kid. right? And
Right.
then but lunch is separate.
Well, I think in America we're okay with punishing people that are poor because we believe that. I think there's an underlying belief that if you're poor, it's your fault, right? And so I think that in theory, it's like, well, people have to pay. Well, I worked hard, and sure, like I think that argument has some merit. But when it comes to kids eating, it shouldn't be.
That's
When
it.
it comes to kids, this is where we're getting it confused. I feel like when it comes to kids, they don't have a choice.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Their parents have a choice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But at the same time, just because they're poor, don't make them suffer. They should get the same opportunities that the same kids in Westlake should be getting the same opportunities kids on the east side.
But Westlake's his own school district.
But still,
I get
which
it.
is all,
But
which is a
it
whole
should be
other thing,
universal.
right?
it's a
It
whole
should be
different
universal, and then we would see real. We would see real stuff happen because if everybody gets the same opportunity, then we could
we can't have
you're going to
that.
see the numbers change.
Right.
I feel like you're going to see. I mean, look at UT. UT. I'm not saying all black people poor. I'm not saying all Mexican people, but the stats don't add up.
Tell me more.
For race, I mean, in Texas, how many black people are in Texas? I mean, that's what I'm saying. In America, there's 12%, right?
Yeah.
Then we should make up 12% of UT.
Oh, absolutely.
But we don't.
Yeah.
We make up like 4%.
Right. Well, I think people think that people that have privilege think that giving privilege to others means that it's taken away from them. And so
not,
people
though.
clearly. But like people, that's the same reason why we struggle about a lot of these things. So it's like, wait, so if we have to pay for this kid's meal, how does that affect me?
Yeah.
It's
right.
not, though. Everybody pays taxes.
So we actually applied, and all of our kids eat free. So
That's
this year,
what's up.
we applied we had different systems for kids that couldn't pay, and everybody ate. Like that wasn't ever a problem. And then we had people, that wasn't a problem. But this year we actually applied. All of our kids eat free breakfast and lunch.
Nice.
Which is
That's
like
what's up.
huge.
Badass. Big.
Yeah, and it's just a bit, and we do breakfast, lunch, and a supper. So they have a little snack at the end of the day, and it just we see also filtered water. We have filtered water on
That's
campus.
what's up.
And,
I'm gonna go there.
And
We
it's
gotta
like
fill up our water jugs over there.
Well, I mean, but it's a
We can
small
give you our water jugs to take with you.
It's a small thing.
I gotta fill up. Yeah, it's a small thing, but it goes a long way, right? And so we can't keep saying we want to blame people for not being healthy, for not doing that. But when we have these social services, let's use them, right? Let's use them and remove those barriers so that everybody has an opportunity for success. But you have to believe that everybody can be successful. And I think a lot of people will say that, but like, do you really believe that?
Nah, hell no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
One of the other knocks, I'm just saying, some people brought this up with charter schools.
Sure.
Special education.
yeah. So we actually have a higher, I'm talking specifically about Austin, we actually have a higher percentage than the ISD does, right? And so I think with a lot of parents that have kids have special needs, they want to you talk about choice, they really want to make sure that their kid is in the right place. Because, often, especially with our black and brown kids, they get diagnosed with special needs for like behavior issues and things like that, and just get treated really terribly. And so we've been very fortunate enough to have a good reputation. And so, the special education parent community talks. And so we actually have a lot of folks coming to us, and we're really proud of that. I'm not saying that all charter schools do it well. And frankly, if they're not, any school that's not serving our kids well needs to be, I won't say closed, but needs to be adjusted. Right? There needs to be a takeover because all of our kids deserve to be free. And I think it would be really hypocritical for me to be like, oh, we do this well, and that school doesn't do it well. It's like, no, those are kids too. And they need to be served well as well.
I got a question about comparing y'all, the charter schools to the public schools. What tests
He's like Charlie Brown. Sorry, he's like Charlie Brown on video.
I definitely looked at it.
It's all good. On the video, like in Charlie, he's like wah wah wah, and we're like, oh,
yeah. I'm just
he's just the
headless voice.
God?
I got you.
Yeah. So, do you guys take the same state tests that public schools do, so we can compare how you guys perform with AISD?
Yeah, absolutely. We take the same, and then we don't have to, but we choose to make sure that we have tests that our kids are performing. So in high school, we take the STAR. For high school, it's called the end of course exams. Our kids also take AP. Every kid takes at least one AP, and then also ACT as well.
Now, do y'all have anything? Did I answer your question, Chris? White chocolate?
Yeah.
All right. Do y'all have anything for like the kid that doesn't want to go to college? Like, is there any like trade offerings or is there
vocational
Because
school?
when I went there, mechanic school.
Well, they just passed state law right now. It's mandatory at high schools, right?
What's that?
That they have to have some type of trade. I know some of them are having it. Not all the schools have it, but it's like one of those things that they do. Like in Lago Vista, they don't have a trade program.
Yeah.
But then at this other high school, I was talking to this girl at that high school, they do. So
Yeah, so we
once
want
again, it goes.
to give kids choice, right? And I think again, it'd be hypocritical for us to say like we want you to have choice when coming to us, but then you only have this one choice as
Yeah,
far
you
as
only
college.
go to college.
The reality is money wise, right? And you guys are successful, and you
Yeah,
guys
of course.
are a counterpoint to this. You are giving yourself the best option as far as money if you go to college, and I don't shy away from that, and I'm
Yeah.
very, very clear about that. Here's the problem, and this is kind of getting to the weeds a little bit. If I tell a freshman who you don't have to take AP classes because you're going to a vocational school and you don't have to take AP classes, they're not gonna push themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And so like we have that conversation, but we always want our kids to push themselves. And it's not either or, like, oh, you can take AP and still go the vocational route. We just want to make sure you have all the tools to make the best decision for yourself. And so with our graduating class, we have a bunch that are at a 4-year college and they're doing well. We have a kid that went to Stanford. We have kids all over Texas. We have that. We also have a lot of kids at ACC, and we're helping them make sure they get that. And we have some of our kids just went straight to the workforce, and we're helping them as well.
And like, I get it, going to college makes the most money and it gives you
Not
the
always,
potential,
though.
but gives
It
you
also puts
potential
you
to
in
make
really-
the most money. But man,
It also puts you in debt.
man,
though.
puts you in debt. It'll
There
put you.
are some people that have a better living without going to school.
Yeah,
There is.
I know
There's-
woodworkers that are
Sure,
shit.
yeah.
You couldn't take their pride.
Yeah.
They create their own life, their own schedule.
Yeah.
They live the life they want. You know, lawn service people that have businesses that have 20 people cutting grass for them when they start off with one truck and
and
check.
if that's what you desire, by all means, we wish.
So I just hate because
healthcare
I just hate the idea of like just always having to push a kid like you're going to college, you're going to college, you're going to college, because it's not the answer for every kid. Like if the kid has a short attention span, college isn't going to be the fucking route for him because he's going to drop out. And then even that might even create a whole fucking avenue of doubt of where I dropped out of college, I ain't worth a fuck now, and now I'm popping pills.
Yeah, and we don't want to tie your worth. No, but that's real though, right?
Yeah, it's real shit.
'Cause if we tie your worth to your education, that's not what it is. I tell the kids all the time, success is not measured in money. Right, for me personally, success for me is waking up every day, loving what you're doing, loving where you're working, loving where you're at. If you can say that, what more do you want?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that there's different paths. I mean, as an educator, I'm very biased, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll just own that. Like when you look at the numbers statistically,
Yeah,
the people that
for
make
sure.
it without a college degree are outliers.
Yeah.
And the problem with some of my kids is like, oh, I'm going to be, whatever. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's like, well, you didn't even do this club. And so you think that you're going to go do this, and then what happens when it fails?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
You don't have anything to
They don't
back
have
it
a
up.
backup plan,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And so what I'm trying to do now and be better about is with the kids that want to go the vocational route, how are you making sure that you have the grip? Because starting a business is hard. You know that.
Extremely hard.
You know what I'm saying? And so how are we giving you the tools that you're going to be successful so that you it's not even worried about a backup plan because you're going to be successful? It's hard for me to look at my kids and say like, go do that route where if you get hurt, you can't work.
Yeah.
Or you don't have health insurance,
Yeah.
right? It's hard for me to look at them and tell them, especially when I know that some of them are going to have a really hard time doing
Yeah.
it. And so that's why we push like the safer route.
Yeah.
But I do think we need to do better at saying like, okay, let's make sure like if I was your principal, I should have given you the tools on how to create a business.
Yeah,
plan. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. Like show them. If you, I'm my little nephew. I'm showing him how to grow money. Like we went to go buy something at the flea market, and then we went to go sell it.
Yeah.
And he just like he took that $3 and now he's got $8. He's like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not that he's gonna be a little hustler, but I always want to say for the little kids out there is like, you don't have to go to college if you don't want to. You know deep down in your heart what works for you.
Yeah.
Like for me, I had a kid at a young age, but my attention span wasn't there. It doesn't have to be the college route. Bradley, did you go to college?
I went for like a little bit.
Yeah, it don't have to be the college route. The college route does work great.
yeah.
It's just not for everybody, and that and it doesn't have to just be like that. That's just my only that's the path to get to wherever I want to get. Because once you get there, dude, we got people who sit here with the fucking master's degrees and they're 20-something years old, full head of gray hair because they're stressed out from work.
Sure.
So it just
I
depends
think you
on
just
what,
have to own what you want to do.
You just got to
Yeah.
really find out what the fuck it is, and if it's college, it's college. If it's a mechanic or a construction worker or whatever it is, just fucking own it. But
Go
yeah,
100%.
yeah,
go
because
hard.
essentially, you're gonna have to be happy. You don't want to be fucking miserable in the end. And starting off life, some colleges, $100,000 in debt isn't the best way to start life.
Yeah.
You
Talking
know?
about going 100%. What about Kanye, bro?
Are you gonna do that?
Oh, you know I'm gonna do it.
You gonna do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
he's doing his. He is in his own fucking lane.
He's definitely in his own lane. He's definitely in his own lane.
Not giving a fuck what anybody thinks.
Actually, he's not actually in his own lane. He's on the. He's clearly going for mega church.
Yeah.
He's clearly going for mega.
What's
church.
he trying to do? To be a pastor?
I mean, it's
Hell
good
no.
money.
He's trying to get that tax break.
It's good money. He already got the tax break. It's good. I mean, like no shade. Like it's good money to be an artist who's counterculture. That's been his whole thing. And when I came out with college dropout.
He came out with Jesus Walks too a long time ago.
I mean, Jesus Walks was another great example.
But Jesus Walks was his first album his first record that he tried to get signed with.
Right. Well, he was already signed.
No. Before that, he was trying to. Yeah, he was shopping Jesus Walks.
Have y'all seen Songs That Shook America? You have to watch. So it's the first one. So it's Songs That Shook America. It's on YouTube. The first episode is on YouTube. It talks about Jesus Walks. Jesus Walks was actually his 5th single off of College Dropout.
Yeah.
And he wanted it to be the first single.
Yeah.
Record label was like,
Yeah.
But y'all, I'm serious. Like, I don't often give recommendations. You have to watch this. It is so. One, it's like I missed the old Kanye, right? So you see like this the struggle of being in.
You missed the iPhone 3?
Yeah.
Did you have a backpack?
That spoke to me. Backpack rap spoke to me.
But did you
what I mean?
wear one?
I mean, not all the time. I didn't have money for all
you
that.
wear a backpack and a bright ass, a pink ass
I
polo.
definitely wore a pink polo.
Pink polo, yeah, he was feeling it with the hat,
with
with the strap.
the collar popped. Yeah,
that's what's up.
But yeah, he was speaking to somebody like me coming up. But I would never forget the first day somebody was like, "Yo, have you heard this guy Kanye West?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was a senior in high school, and they brought me the CD. But that's what I'm saying. So it's hard for me to even talk about it because it's so personal.
Are you surprised?
No.
That's what I feel like is so weird to me. People are like surprised to me.
I don't think you know him if you're.
To me, Kanye, I'm not surprised with anything he does, but he's still an entertainer to me.
I feel like we all know somebody like
people
Kanye.
They just want him to be. He took that stance as.
I just feel like
They just want him to be this person.
I feel like, all right, I'm just gonna keep this short about Kanye. Yeah. I just feel like he's got something for everybody. All right, if you want the old Kanye because you feel the hunger and you know like the struggle that he talks about. Okay, you listen to that at that time. If you want something a little bit more dark, you listen to New Slave, Blood on the Leaves, all that type of stuff. Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy,
which was just named the best album of the decade.
Yeah, I think it's up there. I think it's up there with Beat It.
Yeah,
I think it's up there with Michael Jackson. I think it's up there. I don't think. I think it don't even say like it would be 1 and 2nd. I think you're looking at 1A and 1B. Yeah. And I don't even know which one's which. So I feel like Kanye's got you covered in all aspects, and this is just going to be another one. Because would you be surprised if the next album is just a trap album?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Everybody does this, right?
Yeah.
They get bored, right?
Yeah.
Lil Wayne had a rock.
He literally does everything.
Yeah.
I mean, conservatives.
Yeah.
Shoes.
Yeah.
Films.
Yeah.
Fashion.
I mean,
he's doing it all. He's
mental health. Mental health.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally is touched on every single bullying.
Yeah.
He got bullied.
Yeah. Oh, you 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think that's where a lot of this is coming from, though, right? Yeah. He was bullied and he was picked on, and even when he got to the rap game, like he wasn't like taken serious by like the hood and rap. Because remember, it was right after, like it was like 2004, right?
Yeah.
It was right after like a lot of like super hood rappers like were really taking over, and so when he came out and had something new and took everybody with him, right? So took Jay with him, took everybody with him. Like he changed the culture, and like regardless of where he's at now, like he changed the culture.
Of course, I mean? He is like he's part of our culture.
Yeah.
I mean,
part of what you said earlier, like he's also a celebrity. He's a real person.
Yeah, he's a real fucking person.
And, like,
so I'm always surprised when people like get surprised on how a celebrity acts. Like, oh, he got caught with drugs or he got caught cheating, and I'm like,
he's like a real person.
They're a real person. Yeah.
I got cousins that got caught with drugs and cheated. Like, what the fuck? Like, they ain't on the fucking news. Like, they ain't on the damn news. But are the kids listening to Kanye? Yeah, I didn't think so.
I didn't think so.
But they're wearing his shoes, and that's how he got them. Right?
Yes. So the shoes. This is what I said when I was in here. So the shoes and the clothes are the culture. It's not about the music. Right, like it's like a supreme.
See, but to me, that you can say the same about the music and then the person you see on TV.
I agree.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
So that's why I don't like.
But I think the kids don't rock necessarily with his music. I have like 2 or 3 kids that rock with his music. Yeah. But the kid, like when I wear my Yeezys, yes, I have Yeezys. When I wear my Yeezys, the kids are like, oh. You know what I mean? But it is what they're doing. Some of them don't even know who Kanye is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just the culture piece, right? And
Yeah.
it's like hard to get, and limited edition.
But that's
like,
when you know you're a bad motherfucker. They don't even know your music.
right.
See, because my nieces and nephews, they listen to fucking Kanye.
They do.
And 17, my sister's about to have another baby. And they ain't even born yet. So from 17 all the way to like 8, they all know who Kanye
They all
is.
know.
That's
Yeah.
so and they're into the new stuff.
They love it. She be posting. She
That's
just
so
turned 17.
interesting.
She fucking loves Kanye.
That's so interesting.
And it's crazy.
But
to
that's
think.
like the Tyler,
now
the
my
Creator,
nephew, he's like, fuck a Kanye.
That's so interesting.
He's like, he rocks with Trump. like
That's
it's so
interesting.
weird. Like,
but I think
but he's
kids
15
are
and
regularly
17.
able to like disassociate. So like they like 6ix9ine and like a lot of these rappers that are into like did some really bad stuff. And they're like, yeah, but I like his music. The kids are more like accepting of that. Like, oh, but he makes good music. Oh, I heard he did this with his girlfriend.
But that's society nowadays. Like they were talking about when Rainbow Boy gets out.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
6ix9ine.
6ix9ine.
Yeah, like is he gonna drop an album and be hot again?
They already said he is.
He got signed, right?
The album before he went to jail, that was like everybody loved that fucking
But
album.
that's society. White Chocolate, why'd you shake your head when we said Trump and Kanye?
Oh, Kanye's trash.
Oh, see,
In general, music wise?
Yeah, it's garbage.
Lyrically?
I do think it's
especially-
overproduced.
No, he produces all right. His lyrics are just
His lyrics are terrible.
garbage.
Bro, it's-
Utter
Yeah.
trash.
Ever since Rhymefest stopped writing for him, and that's kind of a hot take, but like his
Yeah.
lyrics, it's not good.
Well,
It's
and a lot
not
of his
good.
producers stopped working with him, so like him producing stuff more on his own
Yeah.
isn't as good as it was
Compared to what?
compared to like College Dropout and stuff that he was working with other producers like Mike Dean and stuff on more heavily.
Well,
I like
them all.
Kanye.
I like them all.
Yeah, I like them all,
He-
too.
You like them all?
I mean, I can
even
relate
fuck
to all.
with Jay-Z shit still.
Yeah,
Everybody's
I
like,
still do
I
too.
can't fuck with Jay. Like,
Four Report was great.
great.
I loved it.
Great.
loved
I
it.
thought that was one of his better albums.
Yeah, but I wonder though if that's like because we're all the same age as him though. So we like when he was in. I mean, he was he's a little older than me, but senior year in high school, College Dropout made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I was going to college. I wasn't going to be a dropout, almost, but,
Yeah.
but it made sense. And then as he grew and he went through some things, like he lost his mom, I lost a close friend, like.
Yeah, you grew with him.
You grew with him. I mean, it
Yeah.
sinks up to him. But I think a little bit on the another scale is Drake, right? And who like.
See, he's a Drake hater.
I don't like Drake.
You don't like Drake?
Same.
See, I fuck with
You don't
Drake.
like Drake either?
Nah.
See, but it
But Drake
splits
makes
people.
hits.
He
Drake-
makes hits.
yeah,
I
Drake-
appreciate that.
Yeah.
But he makes hits because the money machine's behind
No,
him. though.
I don't. I just
That,
think
like-
Drake is just commercial.
Yeah.
I get that he makes fucking hits. I get it that he's a fiend. Like he's huge. I get all that. And there be times where I catch myself nodding. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck.
But how many
Change.
Drake tracks do you want to like ride in the car to?
None. I don't
None.
even have Drake on my Spotify
But if
history.
you go to
No.
the club,
that's
they
your,
gonna play
that's
that
your
shit.
relationship with music, though. That's your relationship with
Yeah.
music. My relationship with music is different.
Yeah,
like
of course.
I will listen to that album cover to cover. I put views on all the time.
Yeah.
There's a particular song like there's particular songs that I will play during certain times of my life, and that's my relationship with music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not whether or not he's a good lyricist or put him like whatever. It's a very personal thing. I think we also have to acknowledge. I think it's different in hip hop because it's like
See,
everybody has to
some
have the
people, though,
top
it's not
five.
personal for them. They just fucking like it. I mean, they just, I don't know what.
See,
It's like Trippie Redd to me. I can't.
I can't do it.
There-
I personally can't.
But
do
there's some people that do. I mean, I don't.
Right.
Personal. To
yeah,
me,
but younger. They're younger
But see,
people.
working with kids really pushed me on this because when I was a kid and my dad listened to Kanye,
we always listen to worse music.
You know what I mean?
Every generation always.
Am I just an old fuck? That's why I don't like
if
it?
we're
I think
there,
you
we're
just
at
get-
the-
you realize
it's
you're
always
getting
like that.
old.
I mean, at
But
the
like
end,
my dad was like, "Oh, you listen to that? That sounds like that's just like those
Yeah.
blah blah blah." And it's like the same thing with it. But I realized that now I stopped being the old head, being a hater, because that seems to be like as synonymous with hip hop as
Yeah.
like getting old and being a hater. You know what I mean? And so like when
Yeah.
you see like the young kids are like into it, they're into it. You know what I mean? And that's
yeah.
okay.
I definitely don't knock the newer stuff.
I
just
knock
don't,
some of the new ones.
Yeah, I just don't listen
Some
to
of the
it.
new ones.
It's just not for me.
Yeah.
And I've already
And I think that's
accepted
fine.
that.
Like,
Yeah,
Trippie Redd's
but
not for us.
but what I
Yeah.
also love is that you also see like these names aren't out as much anymore. Like the little whoever's aren't out
Yeah, yeah.
anymore. The luckily they're fading out and
Yeah.
the lyricists.
What's cool about hip hop is seeing some of the new people influenced by
Yes.
we all talk about Big Crit.
Yeah.
He's heavily influenced, but then you get even Drake a little bit or ASAP Rocky. You see that old stuff that we love kind of cooked into.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe they brought up ASAP Rocky in the
Yo,
impeachment hearing.
what is happening?
Did you see that?
What?
is happening?
They brought up
multiple
A$AP Rocky
times.
For what?
Multiple
In the
times.
impeachment
Oh,
hearing.
Because
the,
he-
the
because he
Sweden
freed him?
thing. That
Because
Sweden
he's
thing.
freed him?
Yeah.
Because he hopes he gets home ASAP.
Bro,
Yeah.
I posted. I said, man, ASAP Rocky's winning today.
I'm saying. And he didn't apologize.
In a president impeachment hearing,
Yeah.
ASAP Rocky
Right.
got
He
brought
hasn't had
up.
hit in years, if we're keeping it honest.
Oh, hip hop. That shows you how
Bro,
strong
hip hop is man.
I mean,
bro.
it's ubiquitous. Yeah. It's wild. It's wild.
crazy. It's taking
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Any other subjects y'all guys want to talk on before we get the fuck out of here?
No, man. I think that's. I mean,
Man, I think we hit. I think we hit everything, man. We want to thank y'all again for tuning in.
Yeah.
We want to thank Mackie Mason, Principal Mason,
Yeah,
sitting
sure.
in with us. We got our
man.
boy Bradley
What's up?
Jackson. We got White Chocolate over there off in the corner,
Absolutely.
lighting it up. We're gonna keep these podcasts on heavy rotation, so we're gonna be doing another one in another week, another
we
week
got
and a
you.
half, and we're gonna keep bringing that heat, man. We got you.
We got you.
All right, bro.
All right.
Peace.
Damn. They're getting easier.
Every
What was that one?
50 minutes. 50. That's still.